Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs, and brought to you by our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author, Me and Moses the Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with an amazing gentleman who's a Massachusetts filmmaker, acquisitions manager for Cinema Epoch, and owner and operator of a amazing website that has gotten great reviews. We'll talk about that. He's responsible for a number of films in the community for Evil Awakening, Rise of the Scarecrows, Family Secrets, Scary Tales, Lone Gunman, and began his career at the age of 12. And he's been featured on the re-release of 1980's slasher Madman, giving his opinion on the world of horror and film. And he's also got a website to talk about that, and also a couple of movies in the works. One's been released and the one coming soon, which is Rise of the Scarecrows. And also, this is a special Christmas program, and it's going to be an invite, and he'll talk about that live, ladies and gentlemen, from Plus Studios, somewhere in beautiful New England on the western half of Massachusetts. The filmmaker and also acquisitions manager for Cinema Epoch and owner of scarestiffreviews.com. And is one of his recent releases, Rise of the Scarecrows, Hell on Earth, and A Christmas Invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Geno McGahee. Geno, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thanks for joining us today.
Good evening, Mike. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for inviting me on the show. I sincerely appreciate it so much.
And it's great to have you on board as well, too. So you're a Massachusetts filmmaker, acquisitions manager for Cinema Epoch. You also own and operate scarestiffreviews.com as the website. You're responsible for a number of films like Evil Awakening, Rise of the Scarecrows, Family Secrets, Scary Tales, and also Lone Gunman. You began your career at 12 years old, and you're featured on the release of 1980 slasher Madman, giving your opinion on the world of horror and film. And you have a movie that just got released recently, Rise of the Scarecrows, Hell on Earth, and also A Christmas Invitation, which is going to be released around Christmas time, which is good for that. For those who are looking for something to watch on Christmas time, feel free to check that out. And before getting to all that, Geno, tell us how I first got started.
I've always been a writer. 12 years old. My parents got a 80s style VHS camcorder, and it was collecting dust. And I always wrote in screenplay form, which is kind of weird, but it's kind of fit into the path that I would take. So, one day I ended up just taking the camera against my parents' will, and going, into my backyard, into the woods, and filming a really, really, really bad alien attack movie with my other 13-year-old friends. And I fell in love with it. And then I ended up going to the video store, and there was a film called Galaxy Invader from a filmmaker named Don Dohler, it was a no budget film. I had never seen anything like it. And so I sort of started to formulate in my head that there's potential there for me, to get something out there that's not impossible, being broke at the time, and producing something that could potentially entertain people. So the good old days of VHS camcorders, and I was off and running. I was filming something every weekend.
That sounds like it as well, too. When you took the camcorder and you went around the backyard, it reminded me of the Blair Witch Project. So I don't know if you get to watch that as a reminder of the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, the Blair Witch. The Blair Witch was such a genius film. I don't think it gets enough credit for the marketing. That was another film that when I saw it just coming out and saw the headlines, and as you know, it came on the infancy of the internet. So they really marketed it well, because no one knew what the internet was at the time, and we took every news clip as real. So the Blair Witch just had genius filmmaking, just genius marketing. So yeah, the Blair Witch, a great example of something that's low budget and scored. Yeah, was it $5,000 to make the film, $800 million payback? You can't beat that, Mike.
It sounds like a big inspiration for people who have no budgets, and realizing the Blair Witch took 5,000 produced and making, what was it, 800 million or something like that. It's just like, they say if they get their 5,000 back, and more, they'd be happy. That sounds like a new way to pretty much get ahead in the economy these days.
Yeah, well, we need it. And film has always been a lottery, a lot of losers, but if you win, you can win big. So hats off to the Blair Witch. And even though I'm not in this game for money, really, I would not turn away $800 million paycheck. That's for sure.
And certainly do as well too. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
I was working at a video store, and I had when you work at a video store, there's these magazines that they hand out so you can choose what titles you pick for your video store. But within the magazine itself, it would have articles and advice. And one of the things was make a if you want to make it in film, make a horror film on digital and low budget, and you'll get into video stores and you'll potentially make it. And so at that point, I said, I'm going to buy myself a digital video camera, not knowing anything about film. I wasn't trained. I knew nothing. All I knew was I'm a storyteller and I want to tell stories. And I like horror. So I'm like, I'm going to make something super low budget. I work at a 7-chain video store. I'm going to hope for the best, get it into all these 7 stores, and then declare victory. Game over. That was my plan, Mike. I was like, all I care about is getting it into these 7 video stores. And so I produced the film, and then through a various series of fortunate events, I met a distributor. And so my very first film, Evil Awakening, all of a sudden was all over the place. And then
Wow.
I followed up with Rise of the Scarecrows, which was my breakout film, which I made on a whole $300,
Mhm.
which was a lot for me at the time. I was back to canned raviolis for a few weeks after I made that. And but what was remarkable about that was Netflix has started their streaming service, and Scarecrows was one of the first movies that they picked. And I'm like, well, that's good. And then before I knew it, they ended up buying every DVD that I had printed for Scarecrows. And my first check from them was $300. My next, and I was happy with that. I was bragging to everyone that I made my money back. But the next check was 14 grand. And I'm like,
Wow.
holy moly. I got a chance to do this, and I'm gonna have fun. And that's what led to Family Secret, and to led me on this road of just, spontaneity, see where it goes, have fun along the way, and meet a lot of great people. The people in my life now, Mike, are the most supportive, awesome people, talented people. Um, I love them all. So this journey, whether I go broke doing it or whether I am like Scrooge McDuck in a money bin, either way, I'm happy with it.
And no more lifetime supplies of canned raviolis. You got to say that. So,
Yeah, Mike, I have given up canned raviolis. My wife, she had done student teaching for a while, so we were only on my paycheck. So I bought stacks and stacks of canned raviolis and ate them nearly every day. So I've made a vow: no more canned raviolis, no more ramen noodle soup. I'm living the high life. I'll make my own spaghetti.
there you go. And that's a really good thing. Your own spaghetti sauce. I think that'd be a great thing, better than canned raviolis.
Yes, sir. Can't get worse than that.
Exactly. Yeah. And what are some of your favorite movies and some of your favorite actors and directors and all that growing up?
My favorite film by far is 12 Angry Men. I don't think there's a better film that captures just our who we are as people, our biases, our how we tick. And I've probably watched the film at least 5,000 times. I love that film. Um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The children shouldn't play with dead things. Um, but I do have such a respect for like the Twilight Zone. I've always been a huge fan of the Twilight Zone and how clever they are, and Rod Serling, how clever he is. Like the original Planet of the Apes, one of my favorite films.
Oh, I
And
love that. Yes.
you can tell it's a Serling movie just by the way it's written, the political stuff, and also the twist ending. It's genius, and I love John Carpenter. I think he's one of those guys that brings quality to horror, a genre that desperately needs it. Horror has always been considered like the brother of the adult industry, and which sometimes it can be on the fringes of that. But I also think a good story is a good story. John Carpenter proves that with almost everything he put out. So, um, you know, 12 Angry Men, Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, I just anything with just to focus on the characters and the interactions. That's what I dig. And as far as actors go, I have my guilty pleasures like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Van Damme. I find myself watching those movies more and more. I think just to get rid of some of the stress in my life,
Mhm.
watching someone get thrown through a window, it helps my psyche. Um, but yeah, Clint Eastwood, another one, great director, great actor, just an American treasure. But yeah, that's 12. But like I said, 12 Angry Men. That's the one you'll find me watching on a loop, Mike.
And of course, you also been featured as well too in a re-release of the 1980s slasher Mad Men, giving your opinion on the world of horror and film, and that seemed to lead up to what you're doing, like with scare stiff reviews and everything else.
What's the Madman thing was a pretty crazy thing. 12 years old again. Maybe the universe said at 12 years old they would point me in a certain direction. I found the movie Madman at a video store and was, a huge fan of it immediately. And so years later, long time later, I'd start scaredstiffreviews.com because I just thought it was a good way to meet industry people. And also, I like reviewing movies. I don't know how to shut up in real life, as you can tell. I don't know how to shut up when I write. So it gave me an outlet to express myself. And so I decided to hit up Paul Ellers, who played Madman. And we hit it off. We're friends still to this day. Great guy, great movie. And his people did a documentary, and they were kind enough to ask me to be a part of it. So I put that as a big feather in my cap, and the fact that I have any link to that film whatsoever is huge for me because it meant so much to me when I was younger, and now say I can honestly say every Blu-ray that they put out, every DVD they put out, they always throw on that documentary, and there I am. So no matter what, when I drop dead, Mike, there'll still be something there of me, and I'm happy about that.
Just don't get killed by a madman in the meantime or slashers. Like, we want you to die in a peaceful way, not get slashed. Can you do that, please?
Ideally, I won't get axed to death. That's one of the things I'm hoping that I can avoid.
And we'll certainly do so as well too. We'll talk about your success of scarestipreviews.com and also your two movies, Ride the Scarecrows, Hell on Earth, and also Christmas Invitation and more. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundWeb Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has got great reviews. And Eve Levin enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and Nails. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and also on BitChute, Rumble, YouTube as well. Also on the HamiltonRadio.net every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Wants, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you do so today. We're here in Massachusetts, filmmaker, acquisitions manager for Cinema Epoch, and owner-operator of ScareStiffReviews.com. Geno McGahee here on the Mike Wagner Show, and you working for Cinema Epoch as well too, and tell us me about that before we get into scare stiff reviews and everything else.
Yeah, sure. You know, I was looking for a new distributor that understood that streaming was the way. I wasn't interested in my films just being released in physical form. And so Cinema Epic, I started, you know, scouting them a little bit, and I hit them up, and thankfully they took me aboard. And I was very poor then, and I needed to get my films closed captioned. And because everyone and their uncle charged between 500 and 800 bucks to caption a film, I knew I had to figure it out myself. And so I ended up doing the closed captioning for my film. And before I knew it, my the owner of Cinema Epic, Greg Hatanaka, he hit me up and asked me if I wanted a job doing closed captioning for all the films.
Nice.
And so all of a sudden, oh happy day, the kids are going to have a Christmas, and we can order buffalo chicken pizza whenever we want.
Oh, you're making me
And,
hungry already. Buffalo chicken pizza. Oh my gosh. We have to hit up on pizza sometime as well too. I have your buffalo chicken. You can have my Italian sausage pizza with a bit of onion on it too. So
I'm there. I'm there, my friend.
oh yeah.
But but so the acquisitions, basically, we went for I did all the closed captioning, and it's a very, very tedious gig. But at the time, I would have done anything just to make ends meet. But he's thankfully Greg started to see that I had more skills in marketing and also as a screenwriter. So I kind of became the in-house screenwriter. And then also I started making connections to other filmmakers and helped them get distribution, which got me into acquisitions. And so right now, I kind of consider myself sort of like more of the marketing in-house writer, and whatever Greg needs. If, even if resizing images, I'm happy to do it. Whatever helps the company, because I'm a company man, and the company does well, I do well. I do well, the company does well. So I'm happy with the job. I'm happy. Consider Greg one of my dearest friends, and it's just one of those great fortunes that I stumbled across that has made up most of my life. Most of my life, it's these lucky breaks that lead me to certain situations that I didn't think were possible before, but they are. And Greg has got my films out, more than anyone has, and it's a pretty thrilling time in my life.
Mhm. And certainly it's a great thrill as well too. Speaking of films, we already talked about Evil Awakening. That's one of your first ones. Scary Tale as well too. And you also had Family Secret, Rise of the Scarecrows, and we'll also talk about the sequel as well too, Love Gunman. And tell us about some of the films. And if there's other films out there you like to talk about, feel free to do so.
Sure. Like I said, Rise of the Scarecrows, the initial one that I made, in 2003, and it got distribution 2009. But that was the film that got me out there, and I've kind of like fumbled my way along. The biggest thing that has held me back from, I think, a larger distribution in the past was just the technical stuff. Getting the audio right and the lighting right, and that's something that we've really, really improved on, and I think we've done very well recently. And so the films that I'd like to talk about the most are Rise of the Scarecrows, Hell on Earth was a film that brought me back because I had gone through some negative experiences with some pretty bad individuals, and
Mm.
it soured me to film because as much as I love film, my love of certain filmmakers and certain people isn't as strong. And unfortunately, some people want to work with you to create something great, and some people want to work with you to try to fleece you and steal your ideas. And so when I encountered that, I backed away from film and decided that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just write films. I'm going to write films. I'm going to send them off to Greg to produce. And then I'm going to sit back and I'm going to drink my wine and I'm going to watch Three's Company and have a good time. But I ended up waking up one morning and saying, I want to film something. and I ended up going to my closet area where I keep all my film stuff. And on the top shelf there was a scarecrow head, and I said, okay, that's a sign. So I ended up returning with Rise of the Scarecrows, Hell on Earth, with the idea of, if I'm not feeling it, I'm gonna give up producing films and I'm just gonna write films and just do that. And thankfully, I ran into the greatest group of people I've ever met in my life. They're tremendously talented. I love them all. I'll give a couple shouts here if you don't mind, Mike. Lori Bacon, Eric McKellion, Brent Northup, Sharon Marr, Matt Hebert, Jesse Hall. Just these people just came into my life, and that's when I fell in love with the game. Even though we were shooting on a mountain, we got covered in ticks. We
Oh
shot.
man.
It was tick season, man, and we
Oh,
got.
I'm ticked off about that. So
Well, thank you. I wish you were there. It was, it was, it was such a pain, but a labor of love. And I had, for 10 years, and I know I'm all over the place. I'm a rambling man, Mike. So you have to deal with me. And I hope the listeners understand that all of this will come together. I do have a point. Um, 10 years, I have been saying I was going to make a Christmas film, because my wife was a big fan of the Hallmark films, and I finally decided to sit down and start watching them with her. And I started saying to myself, I could do this. I can make a Christmas film. And so I ended up, for 10 years, I kept saying it. But when the Scarecrows people came along, they were finally the right talent, because I knew if you make a drama comedy, you need talented actors that can carry it. A horror film, as you know, like Paris Hilton was in House of Wax, and Paris Hilton can't act, but it didn't matter because it was a slasher flick.
she was a name, yeah, pretty much a name.
Yeah, yeah, and so thankfully these great people agreed to work with me on the Christmas film, and the Christmas film I think is easily my best film. And we recently had the premiere. We sold out both nights. People were crying, people were laughing. I got more hugs than I've ever gotten in my life. And so very and it's doing well on streaming. So I'm very, very happy. It's maybe horror, getting away from horror is the best thing for me right now, and just branch out and do some comedies and some other cool stuff.
Any other genres you're looking at, besides horror, and also with the genre of a Christmas Invitation? Any other avenues you're looking at?
Yeah, my next film is going to be a comedy. It's going to be a scavenger hunt comedy. I used to say, I'll never do a comedy because it's the most difficult thing in the world, and it's very easy to bomb with a comedy. But my Christmas film had comedy in it, and everyone laughed, and people are saying how funny it is. So it gave me the confidence, Mike, that I could make a comedy. And I love scavenger hunt movies. I think they can be silly. I'm silly by nature, so it's nice to use my twisted mind on something that can bring people joy. So I want to do that. I wrote an action film called 24 Hours to Kill, which is a throwback to like the Charles Bronson era of action films, and that's also on the agenda. So I plan to go back to horror to wrap up my Scarecrow series, but right now I'm kind of happy, kind of being away from horror, because horror is so oversaturated with films, like especially on the indie level.
Oh
Everyone and
my
their
gosh.
brother are making horror films. So how do you stand out, Mike? It's almost impossible. So, but the Christmas genre, you have, of course, the Hallmark and the Lifetime and all that stuff. But beyond that, there's not a lot going on. And it gives me the opportunity to kind of like be seen, good, bad, or indifferent, and to a whole new audience, that the people that are sitting down to watch a loving family drama aren't the same people typically that want to watch someone get their head cut off by a killer scarecrow.
Yeah, unless it's like, a Christmas slasher and such. I'm trying to think of some of the Christmas slashers he had. What was it like? What was it? Silent Night, Deadly Night, and also like,
Yes.
Santa Claus Kills or something like that. I remember Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's like, nah, don't take the kids to see that. So
Oh, that was, yeah. What a film. And what a bad series, but it was so bad it was good. The Silent Night, Deadly Night series just a glorious group of films. And I still remember being, I think I was 10 years old when the trailer came out for Silent Night, Deadly Night. And even then I was like, oh, this looks good. But yeah, not good for children. I'm glad I wasn't brought to it when I was 10. I'd be more messed up than I am now.
And certainly as well too. And also we're going to talk about what's coming up as well too. And by the way, where can we find all your films at, like Rise of the Scarecrows, the series, Christmas Invitation, and more? Where can we find your films at? And also, where can we find you on the website?
Well, you can find my films. Most of them are on Tubi. So if it's free. You can check them out on Tubi. A lot of them are on Amazon. The new one has hit Redbox and Pluto TV. Uh, um, but most of them, if everyone I think has an Amazon account, go to Amazon. Most of them, are like 99 cents to rent. And if you hate it so much that you want to email me and tell me off, I will send you 99 cents back in the mail.
Oh, good idea. I think I'll do that as well, so I can list all these and get my 99 cents back. That's what it add up. I'm kidding.
I'll be glad to refund you, Mike. But yeah, Tubi, Pluto TV, Redbox streaming, Amazon. Anyone can find me on Facebook. Send me a friend request. I'll gladly accept, and I'll even give you one of those waves you give in Messenger. ScaredStiffReviews.com. You can learn a lot about me, learn a lot about my films, and I'm happy. Any of my films that you can't find, I'd be happy to share with you too. Anyone that has any interest, I always really appreciate so much. It means the world to me that so many people are hitting me up and digging my work. The hate mail is starting to be outweighed by the good stuff, Mike. So life is good.
It certainly does as well too, even with those Chucky killers out there too. So what's coming up for Geno McGahee? You'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with Massachusetts filmmaker Geno McGahee after this time out. We're back with Massachusetts filmmaker and owner of ScareStiffReviews.com, Geno McGahee here on the Mike Wagner Show. Geno, it's been great, and love hearing about your work and your films and everything else, and a lot of great ventures. What else can we expect from you in 2022 and 23 and beyond?
Well, I have a bunch of stuff planned, but the next film is a scavenger hunt comedy. If you can sort of like, Rat Race, if you want to compare it to anything, where it's just a bunch of people that are either feuding or unlikely couples, or even couples that are just, greedy, looking for the prize. Just one of those, almost 1970s sort of comedies.
I remember, yeah, Mad World. Oh my goodness, my
Yes,
boys were way too young to remember. Even I did. That's still a classic.
it is, and that's exactly sort of the theme that I'm going for there. I have the Rise of the Scarecrows, The Last Straw, which is a big plan for me because the first film I shot in 2003, the last film I shot in 2021, and I kind of want to bring the characters of both films together to get to team up to kill the Scarecrows. And also another film that I'm planning is called The Interview, which is kind of a suspense film about a serial killer that's proven innocent, and a college girl is going to interview him, and it starts to turn out that maybe he's not as innocent as it seems. So those are the three films I got lined up. Also, I want to mention that a film I wrote, Amityville Emmanuel, was just filmed in California by Cinema Epic, and a great group of actors and actresses. And I'm really excited about that. They know how to do it right, and they've done everything very well. Just like they shot a film, Amityville Cop, that I wrote, and a few others. So much love to them, and people can look out for Amityville Emmanuel, and I hope they like it.
We certainly will check that out, and certainly looking forward to Geno. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oof. Most likely I would lean towards like Don Dohler from the Galaxy Invader, like I said, but also John Carpenter. If I had to bounce between two great minds, it would be Dohler and Carpenter, because their style even though they're probably not so comparable, but their style and their heart that, I think that's what you can sense, the most in film is even when people don't like films, I think they can sense that there's love and there's heart involved in it. And those two guys, I just felt the true love of the game. So they really inspired me in different ways to approach this game.
And that's very interesting as well. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
The best advice I can say give is consistency and drive will overcome almost anything, even talent. And you're going to have people that are close to you that will try to deter you. The worst thing that can happen is for you to not reach the goal you want to reach, but you'll never know unless you try. So don't listen to the people on the outside. Follow your heart. You have instincts for a reason. If your instincts are telling you to do this, do it, chase it, and let's see where it goes. Because you don't want to be sitting on a porch, being in your 80s, saying, I wonder what would happen if I gave it a go.
And that's very true as well, too. You hear a lot of it. And once again, we're with Massachusetts filmmaker and owner of scarestiffreviews.com, Geno McGahee here on the Mike Wagner Show. Geno, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. And once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your films, especially Rise of the Scarecrow and also A Christmas Invitation?
Well, Mike, thank you so much. Thank you so much, the audience that's listening. They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, scaredstiffreviews.com. They can come check out what I write and my chaos. And for my films, Tubi, Pluto TV, Redbox streaming, Amazon. I would love for people to check out my work and hit me up, tell me what they think, good, bad, or indifferent. And everyone that hits me up, even if they tell me where to stick it, Mike, I will respond, and I'll even offer them a fist bump and a thank you.
And certainly looking forward to it. Look for it from many of us soon here. Once again, Geno, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to it soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all the best. And Geno, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you, Mike. Much love.